Looks like we are live. Happy Thursday, loves. If this is your first time checking out my Facebook Live, thank you so much for checking it out. My name is Dani LeBerry. I'm a virtual licensed psychotherapist and a happiness transformation coach. So I typically work with people who are feeling unhappy, unfulfilled, overwhelmed, anxious, stressed out, maybe a little down. So tonight's Facebook Live is on summer onset seasonal affective disorder. Next week's Facebook Live is going to be on the father wound, since it is June and June is Father's Day. That has to do with the relationship that you had with either your father or your caregiver that was in that father role, how your dynamic in that relationship as a child, how that impacts how you show up in relationships today as an adult. And then the last week of this month, June 24th, National PTSD Awareness. That live will be on at the end of this month. So let's jump right in. So summer onset seasonal affective disorder. What's interesting is that I am significantly more familiar with, and many people probably are, with with the winter months, right? People are very familiar with seasonal affective disorder having to do with winter months. One of my former clients actually brought up this topic of summer onset. And so I thought, you know what, I should probably do a Facebook Live on this. So here we are doing a Facebook Live. So let's jump right in. So people's moods are affected by the changing seasons. And the reason that is because it affects our circadian rhythm. The circadian rhythm has to do with your sleep-wake pattern. In the winter time, if you think about the winter months, we tend to get less sunlight. Less sunlight affects our melatonin, which affects our sleep patterns. Now, in the summer months, what happens? It's the complete opposite. Instead of having not enough sun, we have too much sun. We have longer days. So when you think about it, in that instance, when we have longer days like that, it too also affects our sleep cycle. We tend to not get as much sleep, and because we're in the daylight, our body is not generating melatonin as naturally as it usually would. So we won't find ourselves feeling sleepy. It disrupts. Now, something that I want to mention in how you would know, what is the difference between, am I depressed or am I just feeling down? Am I feeling in a funk? The difference between an actual, if you're feeling clinically depressed versus feeling in a funk or feeling down, is when it starts to interrupt your daily living, when it starts to interrupt your responsibilities and your daily living habits. So when you notice it starts to interrupt those things, that's when you can consider it's a crossover, because a funk, it goes away, right? It's fleeting. Sometimes it's circumstantial, sometimes it's situational. Something could have happened and it's offset our mood. That's different than when you're noticing that this is going on for an extensive period of time and it's starting to actually affect your daily living. So let's see. I mentioned, I'm just going over my notes here because sometimes I can just go on and on about things and then I end up forgetting what I want to really talk about. So what to do? Okay, so say that you notice, the other thing I want to mention is depression. It's acute depression, acute summer depression. That is something that can be situational. That can be something that is circumstantial. Summer onset seasonal affective disorder, it happens every time around the same time every year, and that's how you can know the difference. That's how you can separate it. So let's say that you notice that you are feeling down, right? You're experiencing seasonal affective disorder, meaning it's a form of depression, and you experience it every year in the summer. You notice that usually these are people that experience this also are usually located in places where it's sunny for most of the year, and they notice that, for most of the day, and they notice that they're not adapting, their body is not adapting to that change. So when someone is living in a place where they're experiencing winter months seasonal affective disorder, what do they usually do? They'll usually get a sun lamp. A couple of my friends have a sun lamp that they'll keep by their sink, and these are people that I'm located in Florida. So, of course, we don't have this issue too much as far as not having enough sunlight. But if you live up north where the days tend to be longer, I'm talking about winter now, when the days tend to be shorter, and you don't have as much sun, that's where a sun lamp comes into play, right? So you have a UV lamp, and this UV lamp acts in lieu of what the sun would be. Now, in this instance, once again, it's the complete opposite. So we don't have an issue with not getting enough sun here. In this instance, we have an issue with having too much sun and not getting enough darkness. So in this case and in this scenario, some of the things that you want to do, consider darkness therapy. So spending more time in darkened rooms, getting ample sleep. The less sleep that we get is the more that our mood is agitated or affected. And because in the summer months, the sun is out earlier, it's also out longer and later in the day, it affects our sleep. We tend to not want to go to sleep. Or if we do go to sleep, we may be going to sleep later because the sun is up later, and then we're waking up earlier because the sun is out earlier. So this is where you pay attention to how much sleep you're getting. Get ahead of it. If you notice the last few years, every summer at the same time every year that you've seen yourself experiencing this, it's pretty safe to say that you may experience it this summer, you may experience it next summer. And I'm not saying that to jinx you or to be a negative Nancy, but more along the lines of let's prepare. Let's mentally and emotionally prepare ourselves for the summer if we know that this may be something that we come up against. Stay connected to your support system. Staying connected to your support system helps and supports regardless of a situation anyway. So if you're experiencing seasonal affective, any kind of depression or disorder of that sort, it's always helpful to stay connected to your support system. And of course, my last tip is if this is getting completely unmanageable, I would strongly encourage you to reach out and seek professional help, looking for either a counselor or a licensed psychotherapist, someone such as myself, or, just seeking that professional help. If you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to send me a message here on Facebook. Type in the comments. Let me know if this was helpful. Thank you so much for checking out my Facebook Live. Again, my name is Dani LeBerry. I'm a licensed psychotherapist and a happiness transformation coach. Take care of yourself, and I will see you on the next Facebook Live.